Hi there, welcome back to this channel. In this video, we are going to be discussing the concept of El Nino Southern Oscillation. And it's following the last video where we discussed Walker circulation or Walker cell. Now you see the El Nino Southern Oscillation, El Nino and Southern Oscillation, in fact, are two interrelated phenomena that occur in the Southern Pacific Ocean. In fact, the so-called Southern Oscillation because it occurs within the region of the Southern Pacific Ocean. So if you recall, you know that around this region, around here is where we have the 0-degree region, that is the equator, the geographic equator, and below it is where we have the southern hemisphere. Now you see the southern oscillation, that oscillation, the word oscillation is used because it is a shifting between high pressure and low pressure zones, so that there is some interaction between the two sides of the Pacific Ocean where there is a change between high pressure and low pressure. So that is why it is called oscillation, because of that change. And of course, it is called southern because it is in the southern Pacific. Now, what is El Nino in fact? The word El Nino is gotten from the Spanish. It's a Spanish word which means the boy child, or you could see in other places that it said the Christ child. Christ child. Now you see it is called the Christ child because the phenomenon occurs in the Christmas periods, usually between 24th and 25th of December, which is usually the Christmas day. So, So the oscillation is named, that phenomenon was named after that because of the period in which it occurs. So now we know where it occurs, which is Southern Pacific, and we know the origin of its name. Now, what does it entail? What happens? So if you recall well, that we said in Walker cell, in the normal situation or normal condition, we said trade winds were brought from the high pressure zone, which is the subtropical zone, towards the low pressure equator. You know, there's low pressure at the equator. So, and air naturally moves from high pressure to low pressure. So from that high pressure to low pressure zone, you know that it is not going to come, that wind will not come directly to the low pressure zone. It's going to be diverted in a way. So that diversion we know is because of Coriolis effect, which is a response to the turning or the rotational effect of the Earth, all right, rotational motion of the Earth. So because of that motion, is going to move, it's not going to come directly downwards from, the wind is not going to come directly downwards from the subtropical region. Please, if you don't understand what I'm talking about here, please make sure you review the last video that I talked about Walker circulation, all right? So those trade winds, and this time I'm talking from the top, which from the northern hemisphere, so they'll be called the northern easterlies. Easterlies because they originate from the east, so they are coming from the east side and going towards the west. Now, why are they going towards the west? We said because of what? Coriolis effect. So Coriolis effect is going to make them move almost horizontally. So they are coming from high pressure zone, we know that, but they are going to almost move horizontally by the time they are getting to the equator. So because of that, their movement is directed towards from the eastern side towards the western side. So their direction is always almost directly towards the western side. So what happens is this: as they move, you already know that in the Walker circulation, we said the wind is going to move with it the surface waters up to 100 meters. So it's going to move surface waters with it, and by moving surface waters, you know, in the equator, we said that because of high insolation, it is warm, so it moves what? Warm water there. Now that is the normal condition where warm water aggregates here and then cold water aggregates here. While cold water here because of upwelling. I hope you remember that. Now, in El Nino, what happens? El Nino is a phenomenon that occurs due to, number one, the weakening of trade winds. So both the northern easterlies and the southern easterlies weaken. So when they weaken, there is not much force for them to push warm water towards this direction. Hence, warm water, in fact, sometimes they are so weak that the motion of warm water is reversed such that the warm water, because of over time they've been aggregating here, after a while, they will move towards this direction. So, and when they move towards this direction, move against that wind, because the winds are so weak, they are going to move towards this direction, and then warm water will aggregate around here. So, when warm water now aggregates around here, so this is the abnormal condition, which is the El Nino condition, is the abnormal condition. So, what happens when warm water is now here? Warm water begat a what? What kind of atmosphere? It's going to beget what? A low pressure atmosphere. Because of that, air will rise, and when air rises, it's going to form what? A cloud here. So, and when cloud formation occurs, what happens? Precipitation. And in fact, high precipitation. So in this region, high precipitation occurs. So we know that weakening of trade winds happens. Then warm water aggregates where? Warm water aggregates or accumulates at the eastern Pacific. So that is towards the coast of Chile and Peru and the rest of them. So it's so much. Chile, Peru, and Ecuador. So they have an accumulation of these guys, this warm water here, and then because of that, a cloud is formed because of air rising, and it is results in precipitation. So those regions and those times experience high precipitation. Now, also we said that those warm water aggregate and then precipitation occur because of rising air. High precipitation occurs. Now, another thing is that because of this aggregation of warm water, which are light, in fact, remember they are light. So the warm water is light. So upwelling of cold water is impossible here. So cold water cannot be upwelled here, and because of that, cold water will be welled up here, and this place is going to be the high pressure zone. So high pressure zone and the low pressure zone. So low pressure results in rising air and formation of clouds. So we said that these guys, cold water will be here, and upwelling that on the normal condition, this coastal countries around this coast are usually rich in biodiversity. Their waters are rich in biodiversity, and that's why they are staple. They are predominantly engaged in fish farming, fishery, in fisheries activity and exploitation of the sea. So because of that, and this is because of the upwelling condition that on a normal condition, which is the worker cell condition, occurs. So in a normal condition, the worker cell results in upwelling that gives high productivity to the waters around this region. So they experience high, their waters, have abundance of fish. So in those periods, they are, really engaged in fishing. And while in El Nino period, that upwelling is impossible because warm waters are integrated here. So water cannot be upwelled, hence nutrients cannot be brought up here to the surface of the water to nutrify it. So because of lack of nutrification here, there is biodiversity is less than a normal period, and then they will suffer low. Their economy is going to, in a way, experience. Their economy is going to be affected. Excuse me. So, and as their economy is being affected, because their economy is being affected, because of this condition, their economy is affected because there is not enough fish to catch as like a normal condition in their waters. So while here, So this water will now form a convective cell. Why? Because once it gets to the tropopause here, then the water moves, forming a convective cell so that there is dry air mass moves here, and then follows the direction of the water again, and then here, this place is going to experience what? Drought. This place is experiencing high precipitation. This place is going to experience what? Drought. So we said another thing is that upwelling ceases. So upwelling ceases along the coast. Upwelling ceases at western, eastern Pacific. So, and we said that it's going to form a convective cell where there is high precipitation here, and and in fact sometimes flooding, and here drought droughts will occur. Now, there's also one question I usually ask, which is the fact that which is the relationship between El Nino and the monsoon period in India. All right. One thing about them is that they are inversely related, so that during high, strong El Nino period, such that water, warm water seriously aggregated here. Sometimes you see in El Nino period, in weak El Nino, they are there. Okay, there are two types of El Nino period. We have the weak and the strong. The strong El Nino period and the weak El Nino period. So in the strong El Nino period, you are going to see that water is going to aggregate here a lot, and warm water will aggregate here a lot. Because of that, high precipitation will be experiencing and high period of drought. I mean, harsh drought, harsh condition of drought or dryness will be experienced here. And then in weak El Nino period, so this warm water will be aggregated at the center, and it will be shifted towards the east the most, but like from the center towards the east. So that is in the weak El Nino period. And you see, in this period of strong El Nino, monsoon is usually weak. The monsoon that is experienced in India is usually weak, and what you see is that the precipitation is not so high, and then they don't experience the flooding that normally occurs in monsoon period. While in weak El Nino period, there is high precipitation during monsoon period of the India. That was what we talked about. That Gilbert was trying to Walker. So Gilbert Walker was trying to, study about the cause. So that is it about the El Nino. And there is one more condition which is known as the La Nina. We're going to be discussing that in the next video. Please, if you did gain value from this video, make sure you like and subscribe. And also share with your friends. If you are a student of fisheries and agriculture in FUTA, for example, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, because it's going to help you. This channel is going to help you to ace your exams very much in that department. And also, if you are in marine sciences, do also subscribe to the channel, because we post content part time that are helpful to your department, that are relevant to your departmental courses. See you in the next video, and until then, stay blessed.